Tumelo, you can start. Tumelo. There we go.
So much, ladies and gentlemen, for participating in today's live online learning unit. This is M3, and USEC stands for UNISA Science Engagements. And it's a happy Tuesday to our online participants. Thank you so much. The smaller the number, the bigger interactions there are. And for those that are watching the recording, sorry that you missed, but thank you so much for watching the recording. Without wasting time, I'll hand over to Caspar Johannes for the house rules. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tamela. Welcome, everybody. I think today we're going to have not so many house rules. We'd like to ask everybody to please mute your camera to save data and bandwidth. Also to mute your microphones to keep all the background noise to a minimum. But please feel free to raise your hand at any point in time and ask as many questions as you want. We have a chat area. And then that's all from my side. Over to you, Dr. Gous.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So we're already on unit 2 of the virtual gear competition. And I'm going to just, Tamela, are you ready to show where everybody can find the information on the MOOC portal, or should I give you a few more minutes?
It's fine with me. Okay.
Okay. All right. Would you like to quickly show everybody where to find all the information we're going to be discussing?
All righty then. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Gentlemen and ladies, once again, thank you for tuning in. The information can be found on the MOOC portal. You simply type mooc.unisa.ac.za/portal, put in your username as well as your password. You click on login, and then from there you'll have to go to your sites. Because of many sites here, I'll simply click on my current sites. Then we are on M3. So when you click on M3, this is where you'll find the information, and then you click on syllabus. All right, you mentioned which one should I look for? The virtual gear competition. It's a party, right?
Correct. Click on that.
Should I go to sample videos or?
No, I'm busy uploading still.
So this is where everyone can find the information. The following documents pertain to the 2022 Virtual Gear Robotics Competition. For example, you will find it's a party mission details. And when you simply click on it, this is some game introduction and some mission objectives that you will find, as well as the gift delivery. This is just the basic instruction of what you will find in each and every document that you will come across. And it's very nice because this guides you. So it's very efficient. There's even a diagram there where it shows you position on the field as well as the base. I love this. This is very great, as well as it also tells you the maximum points. So let me just show you another one, categories, definition, rules. When you simply click on it, this is where you get competition categories. I feel like when Dr. Gous presents, I can just come here and click here and share the page with you. Or because I assume that most of you are part of this MOOC portal, you can simply go to M3, click on syllabus, and then under 2022 Virtual Gear Competition, it's a party. Go through the document as Dr. Gous will be explaining it. It will make sense to you. I think this is it, Dr. Gous, unless there's any other questions related to this.
No, that's awesome. Thanks, Tumelo. Thank you for that.
All right.
And just as a follow-up there, Tumelo does have Q&A sessions on a Friday. And so if you'd like to join one of the Q&A sessions, you're welcome. And if you think you're lost, he will guide you on the path that's found. Okay. All right. So here we are, session number 2 of the virtual gear competition. As I explained yesterday, it's really about competing where you are. And right in the beginning, when we started the competition in 2015, it was really about providing an opportunity for coaches to get started with their teams. We used to run this just from January to May. Yeah, well, COVID changed all that. But the really important thing was to have a competition that you can just go and buy the elements from the local hardware store. In this case, we've got sweets included, so maybe not all hardware. You can set up your mat with insulation tape, and all the instructions, all the measurements are there. But the important thing is about the learning that goes into this competition. There's no age limit. So if you want to get a group of friends and you want to enter a robotics competition, no age limit. Okay. And so there's different categories for that. And it'll be open till the end of November. So hopefully that will get new teams, not so new teams, older teams in whichever age category you feel. So go for it. All right, so let me just do the presentation. I've added some of the videos. I haven't uploaded the videos onto the MOOC portal yet. We're still busy doing that. But I have included some of the videos in our presentation today, and I would like us to have a discussion about that. And it's good that we are not so many, so everybody gets a chance to add in their conversation. Remembering that this is what you want to try and encourage with your team of learners, where there's not only one person who does all the programming and the rest sit with their arms folded and say, oh, well, we've done it. It really, you need to have involvement from each team. And so whilst I'm doing the presentation, maybe think about how do you divide the missions that are in the Virtual Gear Challenge? How do you divide them up to make sure that each 2 or 3 learners together then can contribute to the team, overall team effect? Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. There we go, share. Okay. And as again, can you see my screen?
Yes, Dr. House.
Excellent. Okay, so we're right here. There we go, hide. Okay, so what I want to do today is kind of discuss how do you identify the challenges, the tasks, the risks, the constraints of a robotics competition. Remember, you are trying to develop problem-solving skills amongst your team of learners. And what you want to get out of it to solve the problem, you need to have a strategy. How are we going to solve this problem? And initially you might think, yes, but there's not many tasks. So how do we identify a robotic strategy? It's all part of developing skills. Remember, problem solving is not learned, it's actually developed. And the more competitions that the teams participate in, and the more opportunities they have to kind of test their skills, the better they're going to get at it. All right. So just generally, again, we are here on M3. We've kind of assuming you've kind of started M1 and M2. M1 is really about the chassis and the navigation of a robot. M2 is then moving upwards to say, okay, so how do we use sensors and how do we use the input data from the sensors? And then also, how do we upgrade our attachments to include powered attachments? So that'll be your arms and your grabbers. But all of that kind of all mixes together. And when we finished M2, I kind of presented a way of applying what you've learned then to a robotics challenge. And so this is M3, the challenge. Okay. So as you can see, there are again 4 units. The preparation of the game strategy, the identification of the challenges, tasks, risks, and constraints. And then tomorrow we'll do testing and debugging and running, because you as the coach, you always need to be able to quickly identify bugs in programs. Well, that is also a skill that you learn as you go along. All right. So the assignments for this MOOC are very theory. You can probably get away with just answering it in theory. But we wanted to provide an opportunity to actually test out and to apply what you've learned. And so the small print on this MOOC is that you then enter a team into the Virtual Gear competition and then reflect on how does your teaching and coaching then contribute to your team's success. Right. So first and foremost, we need to define what the problem is. All right. And you cannot just dive in and start programming and building a robot if you don't even know what the problem is. And so you need to be able to apply some problem solving techniques there. Okay. Then what are the challenges? And a really good idea is to make a list. Define or make a list of these are the challenges, these are the tasks that I have to put together, these are the risks that I have to identify, these are the constraints of the competition. And one of the biggest constraints is you only have 2 minutes to score points. And it doesn't matter how you look at it, 2 minutes is 120 seconds. And as soon as your robot starts, you start the timer. And if 2 minutes is up, then 2 minutes is up. And so then that's definitely, time is definitely a constraint. Okay, and then I've got some videos and I would like us to then discuss that. Okay.
So, we have a hand. Sorry, Justice.
I'm listening.
Justice, if you can maybe.
Oh no, sorry. I didn't realize I clicked
No problem. No problem. All good. All right. Cool. Thank you for that. Okay. So why are we encouraging our learners to participate in robotics competitions? Well, first and foremost, we want to develop their 21st century skills. Okay. Problem solving. If you have a team of learners, everybody might have a different approach to solving problems. You'll get some that want to draw and some that want to talk and some that want to just know the answer. So you as the coach need to really manage that well, to give every single learner an opportunity to contribute to the problem solving process. Okay. Then the critical thinking, you really do need to ask the questions, and some questions are a bit more deeper and some are like more superficial, but who and where and why and why and why and why and why and why. So although I'm going to show you some videos, that is not to say that these are the ultimate solutions. Okay. And so what you really want from your team is to say, how do they see the problem and how are they going to solve the problem? Okay. Creativity, I can guarantee you that there's not only one way. You can definitely do this differently, but that's for your team to decide. What is the effective and efficient way of solving the problem? How would they build? How would they program? That's up to them. And remember that innovation and imagination is kind of part of the learning process. And that through that, you are discovering and finding new solutions and new ways of doing things. Great stuff. Maybe just on a side, if your team is good at designing maybe a new attachment, please get them to then capture that into the software, the CAD software. Maybe I think it's called now Bricklink Studio is the new software. And so let them capture that, so you actually have the design captured for maybe another round. All right. There has to be collaboration. A team, there's no I in team. And so a teamwork is never solo. And please guard against that. Please guard also against having one learner doing all the programming and all the building and the rest sitting around and doing nothing. And that's not going to work. Then assign each group of learners a specific task to do. All right. And then last but not least, please avoid just programming the whole mission and then running the program and then wondering why the robot's not behaving. So the computational thinking requires incremental and iterative programming and solving. So do one part, then write the program, test it out. If it works, then you take the next one. Write the program, test it out, and so you put all these pieces together, and then eventually you will come to a whole solution. But you do need to do it incrementally. Okay, so if we want to understand what the problem is, we need to define it, and you have to read what is given. Okay, so they are under documents for download. There is a list of all the missions. Read them through. Understand what you actually have to do. And so the problem, from what you're given, the problem is then the robot must then complete these missions to score the most number of points. That is doable. That is possible. I don't think you can do all the missions, but yeah, let's have a look. Maybe some teams are ready to tackle rather more than less missions, but you have to keep a reality on that. Okay, so where are we going? We're always starting in base. The robot always starts in base, and then we've got to do a mission. So we go out from base. Sometimes we can string them together. Yeah, your team must be able to rationalize why you're not doing it all together and why you are maybe doing it together. Okay, but so for every solution or for every problem, there's a solution, And on the continuum, the one is just do nothing. So just leave it as that. We don't have a solution. Or number two, on the other continuum is just do everything. And that's always not the case. All right. Read, and it's not you as the coach just reading the challenge document and telling the team what to do. No. They, the learners, have to actually read the missions. And they have a discussion. And they need to decide. And they need to come up with their definition of what the problem is. And in what order are they going to do the missions? And where are they going to start? And what are they going to do? All right. All right. So then once you have identified the problem and you've divided it all up and you've got the requirements, then we've solved each part of it, then and only then we start combining the parts of the problem into a strategy. Or how are we going to solve this? A solution strategy. The learners must be able to also verbalize this. It's not them saying, no, we don't know, or my teacher said so, or no. The learners in the team needs to actually identify and decide on in which order that they're going to do the strategy. Okay, part one bit by another bit. Okay, so this list of challenges is quite long, but this is the biggest challenges. One of the biggest challenges is to start. It's just to start. You will find teams will procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate, and then they're not ready, and then they got to do this, and then they got to do that. So procrastination is a real problem, and I think it's somewhere linked to they're scared of making a mistake. But there is no right or wrong answer. So really it is dive in. Once you start. Okay, so you need to build and design and build a robot. There are clear instructions of what the sizes are. You need to know what the size is. Then we need to design and build attachments. Well, we know what the missions are. We know what is required. And if you have a list of what is required, do we have to have a powered attachment for every single mission, or can we multitask? Can we have one attachment that we use for multiple missions? All right. And then we need to decide which sensors we need on. Now, sensors, please do not attach a sensor because it looks nice. So for each attachment, you must decide which attachment, which sensor, how many of them do you need, what do you need to do with it. All right, so I can kind of give you a hint. There definitely is a color sensor necessary. And why do we need it? Well, we need it to follow the line. Okay, so there we know that the sensor is there for a purpose. Okay, so you'll be able to kind of organize your thoughts on paper. What do we need for navigation? What do we need as attachments? And what do we need in terms of sensors? And so if you have 3 different pages and kind of 3 focuses, and then you pull the lot together to say, okay, so now what is our requirements in terms of programming and then in terms of building? Okay, so you've already got building, programming, the navigation, the attachments, and the sensors, and then you list those requirements, and then you start. All right. So if you've got the tasks, so if you look in the book that you downloaded, there's a list of all the missions. All right. So the easiest would be just give it to one child and let them do it, but that's not going to help the greater learner community. All right. So we do need to delegate. We do need to delegate the missions, and one of the easiest ways is to have a group of 2 or 3 learners and say, pick a mission that you want to do, and you pick a mission that you want to do, and then they get that done first. And so once they've got that done, then we have another iteration. You say, okay, so what missions do you want to do? Right? Teams must decide that. You can't tell them what to do. It's about learning. It's about their learning. You'll see the learners will figure it out. Sometimes you need to be more organized. Okay. What often happens is that a learner wants to be kind of in control in terms of they know what's going on, and so we've got a COO. So we've got a chief order officer, and they are the people that she can call out what mission is next, where must you stand, where must the robot face, which is really important. But just one level down is to say you do need to document the progress. Okay, otherwise your teams are like, oh, we're trying again. Oh, we're trying again. You must be able to have a scoring sheet at the end of every lesson to say, at the end of our lesson today, this is how the robot performed and we got 20 points. And then tomorrow you come back and you say, okay, so this is how the robot performs and we got 40 points. So then there's progress. Otherwise, your learners go into this perpetual cycle, and then they change programs that they shouldn't have changed, or they update programs that they shouldn't have updated. And then there's no real progress, and that's not, it's very demoralizing. All right. So what are the risks? Okay, so I've just labeled 5, but there's lots more, and I'm going to open for conversation. What do you think are the risks, and what are the mitigation strategies? So the first risk, which is which you can do something about, is the robot will run out of power. Okay, and so one of the things you have to watch is you have to ensure the robot is charged. Okay, have to ensure that the robot is charged before every practice session, and then if you have a competition match as well, please make sure that the robot is charged. Okay, that is a big one, and it makes sure that the robot's actually going to score points. These are just, the following is just from learning, from lessons learned. Well, there's a high risk that the robot can be dropped. So never walk with a robot in one hand. You always have to have a robot hand, one on top and one below, and you hold the robot. Okay. Then there's the real risk that the programs are going to get lost. And so always have yesterday's backup available. And there's a naming convention that I use. So I open yesterday's program today, and then I rename it. So to make sure that we always have the local programs, or the most recent version of the programs. It's also a good idea to have it on somebody's flash drive, so that you at least know that it's okay. We've got all the programs. Okay, so the missions can be misunderstood. Make sure when you read the missions that you actually understand what you're doing. And team talk is very good. If they describe it to each other, and to make sure that they have the same understanding of it. All right. And again, the risk that one player does all the programming, that's not good. It's not good. You must always have a team approach, right? And there's definitely a risk assessment, which you can check with ownership and delegation of kind of who owns what. You must know at all times who's responsible for what. All right. So the constraints is that the robot is limited in size. You can stand on your head. The robot must fit into base. So that is one of the constraints. And also, it can only score points in 120 seconds. So it doesn't matter how you look at it. There are only 120 seconds in 2 minutes. And so, yeah. And your robot may not go off the playing field. So it's very easy if your robot's just on the floor and it's open or wide, and the robot goes off the mat and then comes back in again. That's out of play. It actually needs to play on the playing field as defined. Okay. All right. So when you have a virtual gear challenge, you really need to have time to collaborate with you as the coach, with the team, and the team within themselves. And so ideally, if it's a younger team or a less experienced team, you'll maybe have to allocate each part to a group within a team, or then encourage the learners to allocate it themselves. All right. Keep documents. It doesn't have to be neat documents. It doesn't have to be organized documents, but it needs to have you must have some documents that you keep with all your decisions. And if you have some team members that love drawing and doing diagrams and discussing the way forward, then go for it. All right. So what can go wrong? Well, a lot can go wrong, especially if the requirements and the constraints are not kept in the back of your mind. All right. But I would say first and foremost, read the documentation. Okay. My parting thought is this all worth it? Or what have we learned? And so we've been doing virtual gear now for 7 years. It's about problem solving. It's about teaching learners to have confidence in their problem solving skills. Okay. Sometimes it needs a little bit of trial and error, where they don't really know what the answer is, but they're willing to try something and see whether it works or whether it doesn't work. But the bottom line is you do need to have a strategy. You need to know, what do I do first? What do I do next? What do I do next? And so you have a strategy. It's not just a random robot doing as many missions as possible. Okay. But you need to mitigate the risks as much as possible and share the tasks fairly and squarely. Do not give one learner all the tasks and say they've got to get on with it. because that's not okay. All right. So when you tackle the challenges one at a time, you choose the challenge and then you go and get it done. All right. Yeah, well, we'll have to adapt to the constraints. That's not possible, but I do believe that with perseverance, optimism, precision, practice, we can develop these 21st century skills of our learners so they can thrive. Okay, so let me just show you this video. It's quite loud and I won't show you the whole thing, but this is the virtual gear competition. I wonder whether it was could have been 2016. Okay, and the whole theory or the whole theme was about it's a ocean liner, and so they've got to clear away the trash on the deck, and they've got to put the trash back. They've got to sweep it. And this was a laundry basket. It's a margarine container, but it was a laundry basket, and they needed to pull that in with laundry, so-called laundry. But watch how these team. I'm going to show you the video now. But watch how the team interacts. There's a very good changing over of roles and responsibilities. We also have somebody there with his notes, and he knows exactly which robot must go, and he's busy timing it. If you see at the bottom there, they've got their little attachments ready for the next mission. But watch this video. Watch how organized they are. They know exactly what they have to do. Everybody gets a chance. Okay, so you'll see that they already are, it's touching on this debugging as well. They've run the second mission and they know what the problem is, and they're like, oh, so they're already in debugging mode. And it's interesting to watch this. All right, so I'm going to show you now some of the missions for this year's It's a Party competition. You can say what could go wrong, what possibly could go wrong. Let's have a look. Okay, so this one is, I think, the juice bottle. It's got to be straight up, and then it's got to, so they've fetched it already. Now they're putting it back. So let's have a look with this robot. There we go. All right, so it takes the juice bottle, and it's going, and it's on a space. Perfect. The robot's back in base. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so what could go wrong? Anybody want to unmute and tell me what could possibly go wrong on this mission? Anybody? Okay, we'll have a discussion afterwards.
Yes,
yes.
Maybe the robot goes too far.
Yes, absolutely. If it goes too far, then that juice bottle is not going to be on the square. Correct. Excellent. All right.
Dr. Gous, we also have a hand from Angie.
Yeah, so it could fall over along the way.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that is just so soul destroying. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we've already got two things. Number one, it goes too far. Number two, the juice bottle could fall over. Those are the things that need to be considered when you write your program. I know some teams like going 100% power. That is definitely going to push that juice bottle over because it's pushing it. Remember, it's pushing it, so there's friction along the side there. Excellent. All right, so let's go for the next one here. Wait a minute. Okay, so this one, let's just see what mission it is. Let's first watch the video. Okay, so here we're going to go. It's going to get out. Okay. Oh, this is the sweets. All right, here we go. All right. Very nice. Okay, you see that you can only touch the robot when you're in base. Okay. And you'll see this robot is with a touch sensor. It waits till the touch sensor is flicked. There we go. Beautiful. And another one. And touch it, and there it goes. Beautiful. All right, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Anybody? Do we have some hands?
I see Angie and Christella, and
So
also see Justice.
the chocolates could fall over or slip off along the way.
Yes, absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
soul destroying, yes.
Yeah, if the robot is not programmed well in terms of the number of steps, it might go beyond the destination. Even when it goes back, the number of moves needs to be precise such that it won't go beyond
Absolutely.
that.
Can you imagine the disaster if on the last round the robot, before putting down, it just moves the other two out of the square and then you get no points at all?
And
That is
sometimes it can knock, if the number of steps are not done, if you are trying to put the second one, you might just knock that one away, or rather push it towards if the number of steps are not good.
That's exactly. So you've got to be very precise in your measurements. Did you notice that the operator didn't pick up the robot? She didn't pick up the robot, and exactly that. We don't want to disturb the programming. If we had picked up the robot and maybe moved it like half a centimeter or a centimeter ahead, then it would just have been out. Also, I noticed some teams have got all their programs running. We don't want all the programs running. We want just the particular robot mission to run. Okay, so you can put up a whole lot of different programs on your hub. But what she has got is she's got the touch sensor there, so it does exactly the same program 3 times over as soon as the touch sensor is pressed. So you're putting in some little bit of accuracy there. If the robot goes the first time and comes back, and then it'll wait, and it'll only move if you press the touch sensor. Otherwise, what you might have is you might be fumbling to put the chocolate on the robot, and then the robot starts moving, and that will then add inaccuracy because then the robot might move the path. All right. Yes, absolutely. So you as coaches need to be very aware because we want good practices. We want learners to have good programming principles and good skills. So you as the coach must just guide them and say, maybe this is more accurate. So here's a more accurate way of doing it. All right. And also have these conversations with your team to say, okay, so what can go wrong? How could we improve this robot? And it's also not to say that this attachment is the be all and end all. Please let your learners explore different kinds of attachments. Okay, awesome. Oh, it's the same one. Hang on a minute. There we go. All right. So here we've got, I think this is the last video. All right. So now we are going, okay, let's see what this robot does. Okay. So the robot, can you see the robot has a hat on it? There we go. And it's doing follow the line. So there we go. If you're going to do follow the line, you do need to have a color sensor attached. All right. And this is just for the fun of it. And then you go out. There we go. Excellent. All right. I think you did notice that the robot was started from the side. They pushed the robot download, and that is not allowed. The robot needs to have all its missions on its hub. So in that case, you would then start the program on the hub, put the hat on, and then it'll have to wait for the touch sensor to be pressed, and then it would move. All right. All your programs do need to be uploaded onto your hub. You cannot bring laptops to the table. All right. Okay. So this is just as a picture. This was the 2015 virtual gear competition. It was all about energy, and I'm thinking maybe we need to reintroduce this one. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of frustration. But the cool thing was that for the first time, and we used with Skype, we actually recorded this for Skype of all things. But for the first time, we were able to compete against a team in America and a team in Germany. the language barrier was a bit of an issue, but it allowed teams to see what other teams are doing. And so just before COVID, we actually had 94 teams in South Africa, all in their schools, all with their own, with no traveling was required, no expense of getting learners to a venue were required, and everything at that time was all from the hardware store. Okay, this year we've gone from the shop that we can eat it. All right, so that is just an overview. Please, you can complete the Unit 2 portfolio question, but you do not, that is also open till the end of November. And what we really want is some reflection. If you apply, how do you go a strategy? How do you identify the tasks? How do you identify the risks? And maybe to reflect, it's more about a reflection than a regurgitation rote answer, but to reflect on how did your team then cope with identifying the problems and identifying the solutions. All right, and those are our contact details if you have any further questions. All right, so let me stop sharing and let me open the floor for questions. Are there any questions? Any questions that we have?
Okay. If anybody has a question, please feel free to raise your hand. And oh yes, we have a question from Christella.
I'm sorry if this is a stupid question, but are we supposed to fill in the assessment template for M3 while we are busy preparing a team for the competition? Like, use it, or is it something we can do before the time?
You can if you wish to. The M3 portfolios will only be assessed after the competition is closed, so the end of November.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's to allow reflection. If you're working with a team, especially if you have a new team, and this is the cool thing about it. But if you have a new team, you kind of need to guide them. How do we have a strategy? How do we think a little bit more logically? How do we put everything in place? How do we get optimal points in the 2 minutes that we have for the virtual gear competition? And so you need to really guide them that they can think, and if they want to do, maybe if there are two groups that do the same attachment, can they do it one after the other? And this is where skills development comes in, that the learners eventually develop skills. It's a profound thing to watch a team that has maybe 3 or 4 years experience in a competition, that they get a challenge and they can unpack it, and then they immediately see where the strategy is going, what do they need to program, what do they need to build, and that's what we want. Yeah, this is an opportunity for skills development. Yes. Angie, your hand is up.
Yes, I think I missed something somewhere, so I just want to clarify. You were now just saying about putting in the assessment for the M3 for the competition. Is that specifically for virtual gear, or is it any competitions that you do?
It's well, you see, the M3 has got like a competition component in it.
Okay, I haven't seen.
No,
I haven't looked at that one.
That's fine. So it's a practical. So what we were initially when we launched this MOOC, we were getting a lot of theory, and we felt that there needs to be a reflection on how do you practically implement it, because to name the 5 steps of a problem-solving technique is easy, but if you as a coach can actually say, this worked with these learners, this worked well, this didn't work that well, maybe just to encourage reflection. Yeah.
Okay, so it's any sort of comp, or is it to do this specific one at home that you've launched this year?
It's the virtual gear, but if you want to try virtual gear gone tubing, you can just, as long as you just add your comments to say, I'm going to reflect on doing, because you can do gone tubing as well, but this year's competition is It's a Party.
Okay, cool, thanks.
All right, excellent, and I'm hoping lots of teams will register. Excellent. All right. Anybody? I am aware that there are some brand new teams that are really just starting out now. So maybe virtual gear is an easy, you want to have a constructive learning experience. You want the learners to actually have a cool robotics challenge. So maybe virtual gear is a way to start them. You're also welcome if you want to run it maybe in the school holidays as a holiday program. You can do that as well. I know there were some teams last year that did it as a holiday program. That's also cool. Okay. Yes. Yes, Christelle, your hand is up again.
I just wanted to find out what your advice would be to me to start up with something like this. So we are getting our kids in the next few days, hopefully, and then I can start to gather a team and so on. So where do I start?
Okay, so I would then say you've still got some time, so do M1 with them. So you do build a robot, so the chassis, do the navigation programming, just the basic navigation programming, do a little problem solving exercise, even if it's just one of the things of going, in the assessments, do one of those activities, and then make a bumper or a plow or something on the front, and then you have passive attachments. Then you've already started the process. And then if you want, with your learners, maybe do some sensors, do M2, because there are 4 units there. You can use the overview document, the syllabus document. All right, that is your guide, and so you can do activities with your learners. I would say you've got some time. This is now term. This is September, and you've got 3 more weeks. Maybe even just navigation and building a robot, and then try them on the virtual gear competition. You can definitely push the bottle. I know the juice thing. You can definitely push that. You can tip it. You can do a passive attachment. You could tip it in there with it, but you can definitely do some of the missions.
Okay, thank you. That really helps a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's about learning. This is all about learning. And then maybe for next year you can look at doing a first Lego League competition. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right. So we are doing in the October holidays. We're having on the, I don't even know what it is, the Tuesday the 4th of October. We're going to do some practicals. Hopefully, I'm going to get some teams to kind of show me how they do it. But we will have some practical sessions with virtual gear, and I'll let you know. Yeah. I was going to set up the virtual gear mat, and I've just realized that it's still in the mobile unit. It went with us to Limpopo, and I haven't taken it out the mobile unit. So I will need to go and get the mat. So hopefully, we can do some practical stuff there. Cool. All right. Are there any other questions? All right, let me just have a look. Is superpowered and gear the same thing? No. Oh, so sorry. I'm just reading the comments here. No. So superpowered is the theme for the first Lego League competition, and the gear competition, the theme is it's a party. So it's 2 different competitions. Initially, before COVID caused chaos, we used to run virtual gear from January to June as the learning material, and then we would have first Lego League from August to then December. What we've done now is, because we have this continuous flow of new teams, we're making virtual gear open from the 1st of February till the end of November, so anybody can compete at any time. The superpowered theme is the first Lego League theme, and that came out in August. So our teams will be competing in regionals and nationals from the 1st of October till the 1st of December. But we will still be running the first Lego League superpowered competition off season from January to June. If there are schools that want to run it just as a school event, that can definitely be arranged. Okay. I hope I've answered your question, Sorota Primary. I don't want to call you Sorota Primary because I know that's not your name. And then, I want to offer robotics to my campus who are doing ITC course. Please partner with my college. Okay, all right. So we're going to need to do. I'm okay. I hear you. You want to partner with a college. Maybe we can. I really don't know how to even pronounce your name. Theta. Maybe we can have a conversation about that. If we can set up a online meeting, and then we can just discuss that. Oh, there we go. Casper's already one ahead of me. He's already put the email. Please send the email there. Thank you very much. All right. And Alpheus. Hello, Alpheus. How's Limpopo?
It's fine. What about Joburg or
Yay!
Pretoria?
Yeah, we are in summer. Yay! We're load shedding. We're load shedding, but it's fine. Yes. Okay.
Yes, Doc, I just wanted to know, are the superpowered equipment already in your position?
So superpowered, if you want to register a team, please do so. If you go onto the First SA website, register your team. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
the challenge sets are available there. Yes, please do. All right.
Okay. All right.
So that is the superpowered. But Alpheus, I'm not sure. Are you going to be ready for the 5th of November? I know the Limpopo regional is the 5th of November.
That's why I'm asking to say,
yeah.
But if they are there, then we'll try to put everything in our power to be there.
Okay. Are you going me to the session at 4 o'clock so we can talk about the project as well?
Okay.
All right. Great stuff, Alpheus. Awesome. Sure. Yes. Okay. Yes. So the superpowered challenge sets are available as soon as you register your team. We will courier that to you. Just maybe for those who know about the grant system, we don't know how much equipment we're getting in terms of grants, and that's for brand new teams, and the brand new grant teams are playing the off season. So we'll be playing with the new grant teams then from January to June as team development, as new team development. Yep. All right. Okay. I see it's 10 to 4 already. My word, this session has just passed by so quickly. So I'm going to let me just check. I think see, Maroti, your whole team of 7 educators, excellent. And they're also in Limpopo. So we definitely need to chat to you as well as a primary school. Well done that you are all in the thing, and hopefully we can go going forward. We will definitely have to talk about that. Excellent. And just on that note, so as much as we don't want our learners to go solo, we also don't want our educators to go solo. This is a lot of work, and it's a steep learning curve. And if we really want to have competent and confident teams of learners, we really need to have competent and confident coaches. And so we will walk the path with you all the way. You need to just, I wasn't say unmute, but just ask. Tumelo is there to answer your Q&A for the MOOCs. We are here to answer your questions. There is an email, and we're happy to talk. We're busy with our planning for next year, for our traveling. And next week we're in KZN with Dorothy. So a lot of stuff to do, but we will keep this community supported as we go forward. All right. 5 minutes to catch a cup of coffee. I was going to say hot coffee for those who are not load shedded. And then we will see each other at 4 o'clock. All right. Tumelo, do you want to close the session for us?
It's a full house, and thank you so much to our online participants. Elmarie, thank you so much for starting that nice question that you made everyone to be interactive on the chat box. That was very nice of you. And to our our participants who are watching the recording version, thank you so much also for taking the time to watch the recordings. Dr. Host, thank you for the lovely session. And for those of you who are joining us at the 4 o'clock, quickly stretch your arms, legs, and have some water and fruits, and we'll check you out.
Thank you. Thank you, team. See you at 4 o'clock. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.